The Materials Research Society's spring annual meeting is back for another exciting year. Researchers from across the globe are joining us here in Seattle for a week packed full of awe-inspiring science and engineering innovations. Bringing bright minds from all across the world together is so vital to the advancements of the field. Today, leaders in materials research are joining MRS TV to celebrate the Society's role as a hub for international collaboration.
This is MRS TV.
You are watching MRS TV.
Hi, I'm Katie Brace, host of MRS TV. I'm back for another great meeting here in the Emerald City. I'll be here all week long to show you the very best of what this meeting has to offer. In today's show, we're learning about how partnerships across continents drive materials research forward. MRS President Takao Someya will join us in the studio to discuss the Society's collaborations with the Japanese Society of Applied Physics, the African Materials Research Society, and more. We'll hear from two presenters at yesterday's session on collaborations between African and non-African institutions. Plus, we'll visit two international leaders in materials science and see how their work aims to shape the future of the field. We've got so much amazing content coming up today. To make sure you don't miss a second of it, you can keep watching MRS TV on screens around the Seattle Summit Convention Center, in your room at select hotels, on the MRS website, and on YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, let's hear from our 2024 Spring Meeting chairs to find out what they're most looking forward to at this year's meeting.
There's thousands of material science experts gathered here, under this one beautiful conference center. It's wonderful to finally come to this point where the conference actually starts.
It's exciting to see that all of this has come together at last. And you look at how big the meeting is, you say, wow.
MRS is a very bottom-up organization, so the co-chairs' role is to refine the symposium proposals and merge things together, and I think it's come out really well, and it's exciting to be here.
I would recommend to participate to the plenary session with a plenary talk with Professor Henry Snaith from Oxford University on talking about perovskite, which is a star in the material sciences.
I should mention my own field, thermoelectric field. So it's energy cluster EN08. It's also a very disciplinary topic, so I hope you could take a look at that.
In the committee, the chairs, we have met with people from Japan, people from Germany. If you want to grow as a young scientist, you need to come to MRS and interact. There are lots of people from different places who are interested in working with you.
Thanks to all our meeting chairs for all the hard work they put into planning this year's spring meeting. Now, let's dive into an incredible project out of Europe. The 2D experimental pilot line is a €20 million project, which aims to integrate 2D materials into silicon wafers and establish a European ecosystem for prototype production of graphene and related materials for use in electronics, photonics, and sensors.
2D EPL stands for 2D Experimental Pilot Line, and it's a project which has the ambition to generate a European ecosystem for the production and the fabrication of 2D materials and its devices. These devices find their application mostly in sensors, electronics and photonics, and it's the full idea that all those devices are fabricated at full wafer scale. The ambition and the goal of the project is to go towards first demonstrators, find a path, work with the industry to demonstrate how these materials can be used, what are potential routes, and what can, in joint work with the industry, we can also develop further paths towards the uptake of 2D materials within the semiconductor industry.
Next, we're getting a special look at yesterday's MRS Communications lecture. Speaker Yury Gogotsi is sharing insights with us from his research in MXene.
When materials are just discovered, people don't really care much for how long they're going to live. But at the moment it comes to practical applications, you really need to have materials that will last long enough to perform their function, and sometimes this is years or maybe decades. And this is the reason we started to study lifetime of MXenes under real applications conditions. We previously studied MXenes, which are two-dimensional carbides and nitrides, similar to graphene sheets assembled into films, under room temperature conditions. Or we looked into high temperature applications and humidity. But what appeared that when very high humidity and high temperature are combined together, water molecules find their way between MXene sheets. So what we needed to do is to find a way to protect MXene from water infiltration, because it decreases conductivity and it means that properties of MXene degrade. So the way we reported in this particular paper was intercalating organic molecules, which fill the space, which made material hydrophobic and prevented water from penetrating material, and this significantly decreases drop in conductivity we observed under these extreme conditions. Of course, we conducted other studies looking into making MXenes intrinsically hydrophobic, improving fundamental stability of MXenes, and altogether we know now we can offer two-dimensional materials which can work under a variety of conditions and perform very well, actually living up to a decade, still keeping their conductivity. And I'm really glad we have achieved very significant progress in this field, and we look forward to seeing MXenes in a variety of applications at really large scales in the very near future.
We'd like to extend our sincere gratitude to the 2024 MRS Spring Meeting Chairs, David Cahill, Monsai Diale, Kaning Ding, Martin Kaltenbrunner, and Takao Mori. Organizing a meeting of this scale is no easy task, and our dedicated meeting chairs have put in 2 years of hard work to make this event possible.
Download the official MRS Meeting app. Scan the QR code on this slide or search MRS Meetings in the App Store. Use the app to personalize your schedule, find interests in speakers, and connect with other attendees.
Congratulations to this year's recipient of the Fred Kavli Distinguished Lectureship in Materials Science, Henry Snaith of the University of Oxford. Dr. Snaith will deliver his lecture, Metal Halide Perovskites, From a Scientific Curiosity Toward an Industrialized Photovoltaic Technology, on Tuesday, April 23rd at 8:15 a.m. in the Summit Seattle Convention Center, Level 5, Ballroom 2. We thank the Kavli Foundation for their many years of support for this lectureship.
Thank you to our 2024 MRS Spring Meeting Gold Level Symposium supporters. Your support of a symposium session helps symposium organizers provide a high-quality technical program and encourages participation from researchers from around the world. Visit the MRS website to learn more about the MRS Symposium Support Program and how you can share in the Society's commitment to the advancement of scientific research.
It's almost time to submit an abstract for the 2024 MRS Fall Meeting. Raise your profile with the materials science community locally and globally. Present your research to an international audience of scientists and engineers at the world's foremost scientific gathering for materials research in Boston this fall. Abstracts will be accepted from May 24th to June 24th.
supporting the Society's core value of being inclusive and egalitarian, and furthering the MRS diversity, equity, and inclusion aspiration. MRS's Corporate Partner Program focuses on advancing these values within the profession and within the Society. We thank these corporate partners for joining us in diversifying materials research.
Faraday Factory Japan is the world's largest manufacturer of high-temperature superconducting tape. We're headed to their lab now before sitting down with MRS President Takao Someya to learn more about the Society's collaborations with Japan.
High-temperature superconductors offers zero electrical resistance. This Nobel Prize-winning discovery unlocks a faster and more affordable path to a carbon-free future.
High-temperature superconducting wire can be utilized for various applications. For example, we can apply superconducting magnet to realize a nuclear fusion.
High-temperature superconducting tape is a rather complicated product, which combines metal substrate with 4 or 5 nanoceramic buffer layers and extra superconducting layer on the top of it.
From magnet to water, our tape enables cutting-edge devices with unparalleled performance.
We continually refine our process methods, aspiring to pioneer new technologies.
With the HEITS technology, we can create a world powered by a clean energy, efficient transportation, and a healthier planet.
Joining me now is MRS President Takao Someya. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So to start off, MRS collaborates with many societies around the globe. What do you see as the biggest impact of these joint activities for materials worldwide?
Yes, so we enjoy working with like-minded organizations who focus on advancing science and innovation to improve the quality of life. So this collaboration greatly benefit individual material scientists and engineers around the globe, supporting them to build network and to advance their careers. And on a broader scale, these efforts promote the critical role of science and materials specifically play in the critical challenges facing the global community and society at large.
So specifically, can you tell us a little bit about the relationship that you have helped foster between MRS and the Japan Society of Applied Physics?
Yes. From my perspective, collaboration between JSAP and MRS was so successful, productive, and fruitful. So as you may know, I'm an MRS president who are elected from the Asia region for the first time, which means MRS values the collaboration with Asia. And we had a great symposium at 2022 MRS Spring meeting in Hawaii. And last year, our joint webinar on ferroelectric thin films obtained the over 200 attendees. So this year, JSAP and MRS are collaborating on virtual workshop in June and in-person workshop at the JSAP autumn meeting in September in Niigata. And we are planning more in the future.
So let's talk about another partnership. You are speaking at a special session on partnerships with African researchers. How are you engaging in collaborations with Africa?
Yes. At my home institution at the University of Tokyo, so we value the collaboration with Africa. And furthermore, African MRS and MRS have a joint program at MRS Spring Meeting, MRS Fall Meeting, and African MRS Meeting. One of the meetings chaired at this meeting, so Monsai Haile, is coming from the South Africa. And another meeting chair working for the next fall meeting in Boston is Winston Irita from Uganda. So additionally, we had a joint webinar on materials of green electronics to mitigate climate issues in January and planning for additional online offering in the second half of this year.
Right, perfect. MRS President Takao Someya, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Before we close out today's episode, let's learn about how collaborations between African and non-African researchers are driving the future of the fields.
Collaborations are always valuable. We always get new ideas by speaking with people that have different experiences than we do, and these are societies with very different experiences.
As we all know, in the material science field, there are a lot of big challenges facing us, and we need more ideas, more bright minds, more people to be engaged in it. And African MRS has a number of different material science researchers, professors, professionals that have different ideas, different perspectives that can really move the field forward. And in this way, we can start to solve these challenges that we're facing and help generate more ideas on how we can do that.
JUAMI stands for the Joint Undertaking for an African Materials Institute. It is a program, it's a virtual standing institute. We have 2-week schools that we offer, and this brings together about 60 students, a little more than 50% from Africa, a little under 50% from the US, come together for 2 weeks. We have about 20 instructors involved. They don't stay the full 2 weeks. And the students really get to know each other. That's a key part of what we do, so that they can then propose lasting collaborations that outlive the 2-week school. So during the school, they have lectures, they do labs together, we go on outings, a lot of different things to really build that community.
Recently, we just completed a industry grand challenge, and this was a partnership between Seagate Technology, the Compass NSF Science and Technology Center, and professors and universities in Africa. We had a hackathon-style competition where we posed a industry challenge that we were facing, and we pitched it to these teams, and they formed teams from different backgrounds and different groups and different perspectives, and then came together to try and solve that problem. And so it was fun for us to see the different perspectives and different ideas they had, as well as help provide some skill-building seminars and webinars to help them develop as well. So it's a kind of a win-win-win for everyone involved.
For the U.S. participants who are part of our program, they get to see something that they've really never seen before. And it opens their eyes to different ideas of what materials research they would like to do, and also thinking about how their research can impact the world in a really global setting. It helps all the participants identify the most important, intriguing problems, and also come up with ideas for solutions in new ways that they might not have otherwise.
It's always good to have more perspectives and more backgrounds and a bigger community. One of the great benefits of MRS is the community you build with other professors, students, people in the field, and you hear different ideas, different experiments that are going on, different results that might mean nothing to that researcher, but to someone else, they see that and go, oh, that's actually solving the exact problem I'm trying to do. And so the more we can strengthen that global community and learn from each other, we can solve these problems and also be an example. There's a lot of division and challenges in the world, but as a community, we can come together to solve these challenges that do affect everyone on the globe. We're no longer isolated in silos.
That's all for today's episode. We've learned all about how global partnerships are shaping the next frontier of materials research. If you want to look back on any of today's interviews, you can keep watching MRS TV on screens around the Seattle Summit Convention Center, in your room at select hotels, on the MRS website, and on YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. Tomorrow, we're back for another episode, this time all about how inclusivity makes the field grow and change for the better. I'm Katie Brace, and I'll catch you tomorrow.